good. Let's talk about the other newly promoted team. Because Ipswich Town picked up a 2-1 win against my team, Sunderland. And they deserved the win. Now, I think that there's a few ways of looking at this one. Now, Sunderland in the game, from their perspective and from my perspective watching it, Sunderland gave away the 2 goals. They were defensive errors. But this is how you win games of Premier League football. Ipswich sat in there. They made sure they were defensively stable. They didn't give away many clear-cut chances. And then when Sunderland made mistakes, they pounced. That is how you win games of Premier League football. That's how Sunderland did it last season. Ipswich followed that blueprint today. They were functional. They weren't, they had Enciso, who was unbelievable, by the way. He did go off injured. That's a little bit of a concern. I thought that the new centre-forward looked very, very good. The guy they've just brought in from Toulouse, whose name's just completely escaped us. But he was really, really good in the game. Fatawi was brilliant in the game. The defence looked strong. Issa Diop looked really controlled. Sasa Lukic did a really good job in there, helping to nullify Granit Xhaka and Enzo Lefebvre. So Ipswich did a really solid job in this game. And what they did was, they didn't create necessarily a ton in the matchup, but they just pounced on those mistakes that Sunderland made. Sunderland made 3 big defensive errors in the game. They got punished for 2 of them. And Ipswich deserve a lot of credit, because when they were last in the Premier League, they were the team that were getting punished for these mistakes. And this time, they've done that. And I thought they looked defensively pretty good. I thought they looked organised. I thought the press that they had with Diaz and Maida up there as well, they were so relentless in what they were doing in pressing Sunderland, and I was really, really impressed. I didn't know if they would be able to get that going straight away with the new manager coming in, but they absolutely have. New signings coming in, new manager, and Ipswich looked pretty good in the game. And look, it was a coin flip matchup. I think even the most ardent of Ipswich fans would say that, there was nothing massive in the game. Ipswich's first goal comes from a defensive mistake from Sunderland. Luke O'Nien gives it away to Enciso, who does brilliantly. He still does amazingly. And Ipswich end up scoring. Then the second goal that Ipswich score comes from Alderete passing it out, and it ends up with Jack Clark, who cuts inside and does what he does and bends it in the corner. The goals came from mistakes, but you've got to exploit those moments if you are a newly promoted team. And Ipswich did that brilliantly in the game, and it gives you a lot of hope. They've got some difficult fixtures coming up, but getting off the mark for them, getting that momentum, much like Hull City, is absolutely huge for building your season ahead. Now, from the Sunderland side of things, really disappointing start of the season, but you aren't going to be defined by this. Sunderland lost away at Burnley in Burnley's first home game last season. It is always difficult going to newly promoted teams in the first game of the season. It's hard to do that, and the whole Ipswich crowd was bang up for it. In the game, from a Sunderland perspective, yes, they gave away 2 bad goals, but there was not much in the matchup. It probably was just about a draw, but Ipswich, showing that little bit of endeavour, probably did in the end deserve to win the game more than Sunderland. So we've got 2 newly promoted teams winning on the opening weekend of the season, the same as what we had last season when Sunderland and Leeds won. And
Joe, Dazen Maida.
Yeah, I think he's what we expected him to be from all that talk from Celtic fans about how hard he works, and he certainly did that. I think all the physical numbers are on FotMob now, so it's easier to see stuff, but he made 19 sprints, which was 7th in the Premier League over the course of the weekend. 7th out of all players across all teams. So, 19 sprints, and he obviously went off with, 10, 15 minutes to go as well. Covers a lot of ground. But he also gets himself into good positions, doesn't he? It didn't... the header... Yeah, when Fatawi beats the man on that right-hand side, it's him that lands on the ball in the box. But it's just a bit too high for him.
In the box.
Yeah, but he does beeline to get between the posts, doesn't he, from out wide, and has that one there. When Enciso beats him and knocks it over and Emerson heads it back in, it's him again who's in between the posts, and he doesn't get he sort of misses it, doesn't get the shot away. But
he's going to get some goals for us, yeah.
Yeah, he gets himself, like I say, you put yourself in those positions, like you're going to take some chances. But yeah, Andy puts it there, busy. Yeah, he is very, very busy. And he does he manages to catch up when he's pressing people, sort of catch him on the blind side and sort of nick the ball off of them and very close. And I thought not as much as Maida, but I thought Fatawi very good at that as well. And Enciso, those 3 were, it's like playing football against a bunch of rats up there, isn't it? When they're pressing you, they are horrible to play against. They are all over you. They're quick. They're flying in. They do not stop working. Yeah, so you can see exactly what sort of players we've gone for.
David Diamond, Emerson.
Oh, yeah, really liked him. As I said before, big, strong, athletic, good in the air. Just one outrageous bit of skill, which was class, and it's just great. Centre, your number 9. What do you want to do? First game of season.
Score.
You score 2 goals. You ideally want your number 9 to get one of them, and number 9, number 19, centre forward to get one of them, and he did. Brilliant. He's going to be and again, he's 21. He's going to be a player for us. I think really, 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 really is. Really, really good debut.
You can see why they liked him, didn't you? You can see the physical attributes. And it seemed a big fee for someone, but you can see why they had to pull that trigger early on him.
Yeah, I will break the rules because you are both allowed to talk about Julio Enciso. Joe.
Just class, an absolute class act, and worked so hard from start to finish as well. I think he had as many sprints as Maida as well, and it's just that constant work rate is just something you don't expect from a player who's such a talented guy as well, to be able to have that and the talent as well. But everything he touched was perfect from the first minute. I think 10 seconds into the game, he just picks the ball up and just does a lovely flick down the line to Maida. You think, he's on it today. He's going to be good. And he made them look silly, really. The goal, the time when he sort of got down the line and took on Xhaka and then went through Angulo's legs. And probably a performance that deserved a goal, but probably good for him to get an assist rather than a goal, maybe just to show that he can do that as well. But he is, if he can stay fit all season, he's going to, and play well to that level, he's going to be the absolute nuts for us this year.
This is so exciting, Dave, because
crazy. Getting into the second half there, really good start to the second half. First 10 minutes, a few good chances made. One really good chance, especially made by Fatayo on the right, and Maeda almost got on the end of it after a head down from Emerson, slightly wayward. Just thoughts on our 2 new guys on the wing there, Maeda and Fatayu. I thought really good performance from both of them. We touched on them in pre-season especially, but as I said, their first full competitive game, and I think it's good signs of those 2, isn't there?
But Tawu's first half was one of the worst I've seen.
Damn it, that goes against what I said.
Second half. Yeah, in the second half, his game really picked up, and he seemed to come into it a bit more. But the first half, he was running into brick walls. His passes were wayward. I was calling for him at half-time to be taken off, and I'd have happily seen Casey McAteer come on at half-time, which we saw later on.
Yeah, totally. But just, as I said, that run through in the second half, he did pick up a bit and almost created a few chances. That pace is handy. Maybe it is more handy perhaps off the bench throughout the season, but it was key. My thoughts on Maeda, obviously may have the biggest impact, but as you said in our pre-season podcast, he's got legs. He can run around, and I think we saw that on many occasions, didn't we?
Yeah, he really does cover so much ground. His heat map must be crazy because he just doesn't seem to stop running. But yeah, I do agree that Fatawu's that where he drops his shoulder, puts the ball short on the defender's right, and then goes past them on the right, is crazy quick. It's such a good attribute to have. And I just hope he don't get caught out with that too early, where people start to be like, "We know where you're going. If you've only got one look."
I'm sorry you didn't have the greatest of days. The only thing I would say as well is that when I was watching the game, and I was watching Daisen Maeda, who I think is like a useful player. I don't think he's a brilliant player, but I looked at him and I just thought, would he not be ideal for what we needed? And I know people had mentioned him on the channel before as being like a player we could have targeted right at the start of the transfer window. But I looked at him and I was like, high press, defensively strong, and kind of knows, he missed one right at the start of the game. Like he put a header over the top of the bar. He got in them positions. I just looked at him and I kind of thought, why were we not targeting that sort of experience? He's played loads of European football. Why weren't we looking at a player like him?
Well, he doesn't play on the right wing to start with.
No, but is
he going to move to be a sort of second striker for us, or a third choice striker? I don't think he is.
But we're looking at buying a forward player that has got versatility. Like that's what they were kind of
across the line, yeah.
And he's the sort of player that can do it. I get he doesn't play on the.
Look, we'll get a right winger of quality. I do believe that, and I think we'll get some forward line cover as well. And 10 days from now, I think things will look a lot better, especially after a win against Fulham. But I don't think Maeda is the quality of player that we should be going for. I think we should be going for better than that. Now, you can come back and tell me I'm wrong after we failed to sign a right winger or a supporting forward, and I will happily accept that.
I just kind of look at it at his his qualities, I suppose, is that
you like the fight. I get it. I like the fight too.
I like
but,
that.